Hello, this is the final session on morality. And what we can conclude is that morality is an evidence, or seems to be an evidence, for the existence of God. And I understand that there's a difference between evidence and proof. There are a lot of things that you cannot prove without a shadow of a doubt. However, it's extremely difficult to argue that morality is subjective, and many hardcore atheists admitted it, non-believers, that yes, although we believe in evolution, although we believe that there is no God, although we are naturalists, but at the same time we just can't even to begin to tell where morality is from. How is it that everybody has this thing, that moral compass? And because it doesn't seem to be subjective, the only way, if it's subjective, where do you ground it? It cannot be, because morality has to be grounded in something. What do you ground it in? Do you think it's the product of evolution? But well, we discussed it when we looked at the Nazis, that it's not really, because how could the Nazi perpetrators be charged during the Nuremberg trial if they never actually violated any international law? Because people do get killed during war, but yet it was evil thing, and nobody in their right mind, although there are Holocaust deniers, nobody in their right mind would say that killing 6 million people is not a horrible thing, that is just the data. You have the issues if you say things like that. But where does it come from? Where does our moral compass come from? If it's not subjective, it has to be objective. But if it's objective, it means it has to exist outside of humanity. It is part of us, but it's not from us. It doesn't exist within humanity. It comes from outside us. It's not something that we came up with. And the argument is that the source of morality has to be God. Because first of all, look at the evolution, look at the survival of the fittest. Morality contradicts it, because look at people. Something interesting happened. The Boston, was it 7 or 8 years ago, when there was a big terror attack on Boston. All the bombs exploded during the Boston Marathon. And I remember reading an article in Science Daily. It's a scientific online journal sort of thing, and they said that they were doing something that contradicts evolution, because people were running towards the explosion to help others. Where does it come from? Why does it instinctively override your own survival instinct to help others? It was actually your own survival instinct is strong, but it's nearly not as strong as helping others. How many times it happened that people, without thinking, jump into the lake or river to help others, even though you knew it was a danger, especially your loved ones, but even people you do not know? It's a very strange thing. It's a very strange behavior if morality is the product of evolution, or people are willing to give up good jobs to take care of others. So it's not really the survival of the fittest, is it? And I think that it does show that God is real, especially if you look at the book of Romans in the Bible. That's what Paul talks about in the Bible. The people know that God exists. People know how to behave. But he explains that people turn away from God. Why? Because first of all, we don't want there to be God. It's easier to run after pleasures. It's easier to run after things that satisfy us. And it's easier to turn away from the Creator, because being a follower of Christ is hard. Excuse me, it's not as easy as people would think it is. Having faith is really hard. Holding on to your faith, especially when you go through trials. And yet, I think he's correct in saying that the reason that people don't live according to the moral standard is because, you know, we like to reject Christ. And as Dostoevsky said in Brothers Karamazov, without God, anything is permissible. So if there is no God, you could do whatever you want. But as I mentioned, if you turn it around, if you turn the situation around, when people find themselves in a situation where someone behaves towards them immorally, then you suddenly appeal to this universal standard. And it does make one wonder where this standard comes from. So it's not a good argument to say people don't live morally, therefore there is no morality. And nobody says that, you know, non-believers are immoral. What we are saying is you can't ground morality. What do you ground it in? Where do you get your moral standard from? So that is the end of morality. There's a lot more to talk about, but in just a couple of sentences, that is the conclusion one can come to, that the source of morality is God, and it's a very good argument that the source of morality is God. And also that we know objectively how to behave, although I think in a lot of cases we tend to not to listen to our moral compass and behave in any way we see it fit to further our agenda, to further our place in society, to get ahead. But the moment somebody behaves us in a way we behave to them, we suddenly realize that it's an immoral thing for them to do. That's it. Bye.